And welcome back to the Wake Up Call, zooming around the world from the biggest little city, Reno, Nevada. And I'm Chef Dave Preston here, and I'm going to change hats today because we are going to interview a very special guest. He is the Commissioner-elect from Storey County, but he has a fabulous history. Lance Gilman, welcome. Good morning, good morning.
Dave, thank you very, very much. Pleasure to be here.
You know, to call you an entrepreneur might be an understatement.
I've rarely said no in life. If there's a door to step through, I'm going through.
You know, and for those of you who don't know, I mean, Lance's history in northern Nevada has been one of developer, philanthropist, activator. He just does everything. But I think one of the things that most people remember you or know you for now, and this transition to Commissioner-elect is going to be a new thing, but the Mustang Bunny Ranch, you took that over.
Not Bunny Ranch.
Excuse me, the Mustang Ranch. That's
Misspoke
right.
yourself.
See, I'm very old. But the Mustang...
You've been around a long time.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have. You took over the Mustang?
I bought the Mustang Ranch on eBay in about 2003, I guess it was. Bought it from the federal government.
Yep.
They'd tried to run it, and they decided they were going to auction it. So we picked it up for $145,100. And then we took all the pieces, and mostly with a helicopter, we moved them down the road about 4.5 miles and reconstructed that. You know, I'm a frustrated architect.
There you go.
And I've been a builder for my lifetime, and so I really enjoyed putting that structure back together and restoring it. And it's a historical piece.
Sure.
There's no question about that. But if you haven't seen the ceiling inside, we had the painters that did one of the major hotels in Las Vegas come up, and that entire dome ceiling is all hand painted.
Wow.
with scenes from Italy. Yeah, it's a wonderful place.
You know, and it's an interesting. It's part of the business of life, I like to call that, and it's kind of been a foundation. But I want folks to realize also one of your passions and something you've done that has caused a tremendous economic boom in northern Nevada is the USA Parkway Project.
USA Parkway, absolutely. You know, one of the things that folks probably or perhaps do or don't remember, I arrived in Reno in about 1985, and by 1990 we'd acquired the ranch down there that's now called South Meadows Double Diamond Ranch. That was a 2,500-acre project. That's a planned community. It was listed in the newspaper in the 90s as one of the events of the decade, the two, and that's because we'd relocated Lockheed Mountain Gate down there. They had the laser guidance system for the Patriot missile contract, and they were the first high-tech manufacturer landed in the trucking meadows at the time. But that was a wonderful, wonderful project, and that's kind of where I started. And then we left there and went out to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center in 1998. And the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center today has gained prominence as the largest industrial park of its kind in the United States.
And it is fabulous. And one of the things that I always like to talk about, because I think it's important to know, and something that we have a very important agency located out there, and that's the food bank.
Yes.
That is so critical right now, particularly, and it's just been a wonderful opportunity for folks to understand how much I want to say you do for the community, but so much the area now. You're now a commissioner-elect in Storey County.
I am.
And what do you think? I mean, that's one thing you haven't done. You haven't been a politician quite.
I never have been a politician, and I did Don Lemon's show on CNN tonight, and CNN, and he asked me, and several have, if I'm now entering a political career, and the answer is absolutely, unequivocally not. I love Storey County. They are on the threshold of incredible prosperity, and on a lot of different levels. And so they were all kind enough to support me and have confidence and faith. And God love them. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give them positive representation up there. We got a lot of things to do.
You know, one of the things that I wanted to ask about, because I think people that know the area, one of your plans was to be able to connect Interstate 80 with Highway 50.
Yes.
How's that going to go?
I think it's fine. Yeah. Oh, sure, absolutely. We've built about the first 8 miles, and we have about 6 miles left to go. And with the help from Washington, and I know that Senator Reid is very focused on it, and the health of the north part of the Nevada. But we're through the environmental process now. We had a recent meeting with NDOT, and I'm sure we'll be underway one day soon in doing that extension. And of course, that's going to open up all the jobs down toward Silver Springs,
Right.
Highway 50, all the way down to Yarrington, for example.
Yeah.
And it's going to become a new major transport corridor. Walmart is so anxious to get on that highway going south. It'll cut about an hour and a half, believe it or not, off to Southern California or Las Vegas, because they don't have to go over the passes. They're going to be able to go around where it's not so much snow. They don't have to put on chains. They don't have to stop as much.
I think the economic opportunity is going to be huge.
It really is.
I don't think a lot of people appreciate what that next 6 miles could mean financially to the state of Nevada. Certainly Northern.
Well, there's so many people down in the Dayton area, and even Mark Twain, for example. And right now, if those folks want to come out to the job base, people don't realize, but out there at TRI, we have 130 companies, and we have over 6,000 jobs just in the last 5 years out there. But a lot of the folks that are down there have got to go all the way around through Carson, up 395, out I-80.
Yes.
It's an hour and 15-minute drive.
Yeah.
And if we get that road cut through there to their job base in 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, which will be a
Critical.
huge thing for everybody, and it
You
helps
bet.
everybody around the way. You know, we've had a lot of people send questions for you, and Brandy has got some of these great questions that we're going to start. We're going to let you answer directly from the folks that listen to you. We'll even call them your constituents. How about that?
I have some constituents. I have a few friends, and I love them all.
Brandy, what do you got?
All right. Well, good morning, Commissioner Lance Gilman. Nice to see you.
Brandy, let me tell you, I am so pleased to be here. I have watched the progress of LoadedTV. I've had you guys so many times up in Virginia City.
Yes.
And we've done so many wonderful things together, and I'm really proud of you all. I think you're bringing a new dimension to the community that is wonderful, and very kind of you to have me here today.
Well, thank you so much. It's
You're
nice
welcome.
to hear. Okay, so we got a lot of email questions. So I'll just get started. Jeffrey Pace, his question is, what are Mr. Gilman's plans for USA Parkway?
Which we
So,
kind of
which
already
you
answered.
already
We did answer
answered.
that.
So
That's
Jeffrey
great.
Pace, there you go.
So my plans for USA Parkway is we're going to put that rascal through. We've been working very hard at it for 10 years. We currently have a proclamation from the Assembly and the Senate, and they have all said, please, we need to get this done. I met with Ed Dodd about 2 weeks ago. They said, we're going to get this done. So we're moving. You know the problem is, I'll tell you something that may or may not be interesting. We have to cross a small piece of federal land. And when you enter the federal world, their regulatory environment is so difficult to get through. That's one of the things we must do in Washington. We've got to stop this regulation. But once we get through the federal regulation, we'll get the road built.
Well, there you go. Okay, so Joy has a two-part question. Mr. Gilman, first off, I want to know, are you an honest man?
I certainly, my epitaph, I want it to say you could shake his hand, and that's what happens. And so, yes, ma'am, I believe absolutely, and I would like to think if you called anybody in this community, they may not all agree with what I do.
Okay.
But I do it honestly.
Okay, and the second part is, what do you plan to do to improve Storey County School District?
Well, I suppose the first comment there, and I would go back to Henry Kilmer's comment in the paper some years ago. The Tahoe Reno Industrial Center is such an incredible revenue driver that we anticipate being the wealthiest school district per capita in the United States today.
Oh, wow, that's pretty great.
So what I intend to do is I intend to see that there's enough money there to do everything that a community could possibly want. You know, we're very, very active in the schools and raising funds, and I participate heavily in the backpack program. I buy the backpacks and send the kids that don't have a lot to eat over the weekend home with a backpack and food.
That helps.
And
nice.
so we're very heavily involved in school.
All right, well, there you go, Joy. Gary Oldfield wants to know, he goes, I would like to know what Lance Gilman thinks he can accomplish in his first term in office.
Well, I suppose my first answer to that question is I hope I can continue the success that the two commissioners that are exiting have left. You know, you take those two men in the last 10 years have seen the development of TRI. We've gone from a little community with about a $5 million budget to a community with a $20 million budget. That's a huge growth pattern, and that was at the hands of those commissioners. So my first goal is going to be to continue the great work that's been done by those I'm following.
Ian Tate has a two-part question. He says, Mr. Gilman, how does it feel to transfer into politics after running a brothel?
It's not so much the running the brothel. You know, first of all, you have to go back into my life. I've had a major Harley-Davidson store. I've had one of the largest marine centers. I've been a general contractor for a lifetime. I've built custom homes. I did the headquarters for AT&T. So running a brothel, when you just look at that concept, it's just running a very large. I've got over 40 employees out there. I've generated over $5 million for the county just out of that operation. So I'm taking a business set of disciplines to the county. And I think the major transition for me will be to go from private enterprise, which has a different concept, if you will, for operating private enterprise. And I'm going into the political world of a community. And I'm going to have to go through a period of adjustment there. I am. I've been used to running my own ship, and I'm going to have to join a team, and I'm looking forward to that.
And Ian's second part is this something you've always wanted to do?
No, I really,
It's too late, Lance. It's too late.
anticipated going into politics. But, you know, doors open in your life, and one of the things that you have to be prepared for is to step through. And this door opened, and because of TRI, and because of its significance in the county, because of the Comstock lode and the richest mining place, at one time it was the richest place in the world. And I'm going to tell you, there's enough gold left up there, it will be again. So now we've got mining to work with. And then from a tourism standpoint, Virginia City is the second largest tourist attraction in northern Nevada, next only to to Lake Tahoe. So we've got our hands full. We've got a little county that's a little larger than the state of Maine, with about 4,000 residents, that is going to be one of the wealthiest counties in America per capita.
Oh my goodness. Oh my kid. Oh,
It's
we have
fabulous.
like so many questions left, and we only have a couple minutes left.
I better
Maybe
hurry,
we can
huh?
squeeze through
You
this.
want yes or no?
Laura Kuhn says, Mr. Gilman, how many jobs do you feel you can create in Storey County?
Well, we've created 6,000 jobs in the last 5 years. The first phase of the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center will probably create 50,000. I have 3 phases, so that's 150,000 jobs. And I would like to see at least a third of that done in my lifetime. So, big park, big operation, lots of employment.
Arthur wants to know, do you feel northern Nevada should be focused on using more green energy, for example, solar, considering how much sunshine we have?
That's all a great concept. I love about green energy, but everybody in every household listening better understand that when green energy comes in, it's 5 times more expensive than what we're paying for now. You know, you take it, for example, we can buy kilowatt power at about 6 cents. Wind generation costs about 15 cents. It's going to be very expensive power.
Yeah, it is.
We can embrace green, but we better be ready to pay for it.
And I think the question of whether or not there's enough fossil fuel, which we all know there is. There's plenty of fossil fuel in this country.
Lots. You bet.
And it's much easier to recover. But on the other side of the coin is we are faced with a very environmentally conscious environment today.
But I will tell you, there's a building out at TRI called Schluter, and they're a German company, fabulous company, and they're an all-green, and they're called a gold LEED building. Their power for that building is costing about $40 a month.
Yep.
Because they're all green. So a lot to expense, but it's good savings.
It works.
A chat viewer, Sweet Honey, wants to know, are there any more job businesses or jobs opening soon in USA Parkway?
There are job fairs going on there as we speak. Zulily is out there, and as a matter of fact, we're under expansion. 6 of the companies, we don't have time to answer this,
Yes.
but 6 of the companies are doing major expansions right now. So the answer is yes.
Okay. Paul wants to know, is this just your first step in your political career, or do you have any ambition for Congress or Senate?
My life, my home, my family, the residents that I respect, I called every home in Storey County. I did 1,500 homes. That's where I'm going, and it's not a political career that I am challenging. I want to serve Storey County. I love her, and that's where I'll stay.
You know, we have a viewer that asked the question, which I think both of us already know the answer. How long do you think it's going to take for the federal government to bless that the extension to 50? Do you think?
It's not so much the blessing. I believe the blessing is already there. But you know, sometimes to get folks to turn loose of the purse strings, that's the hard part.
Yeah, so but you've got to go through the federal government. And that's
We have to go through the federal process, absolutely, because we touch 2.5 acres. Otherwise, I mean, you guys, we built the first 8 miles of USA Parkway. We got the permits and built it in about 6 months, 180 days. I've been 10 years trying to get the last 4 or 5 miles.
Which might be one of the reasons we're so broken in Washington.
Oh, if they have asked me, what have they got to fix in Washington? Regulation.
Yeah.
You know, I just read a thing. Everybody ought to understand this. Washington is turning out 80 regulations, between 70 and 80 new regulations a day.
Yeah.
We can't administer the ones that we're looking at now. A city council, a commission sitting there, and we're not even sure if we're in compliance with all of the regulations that are out there today. It's
Yeah,
just
go back to that.
a huge crush.
Lance, we've learned so much from you already. There's so many more chat questions coming in, as well as emails, but we don't even have enough time to cover it all. Hopefully we can have you on
You
the
come
show
back.
again, and you can come back.
I'm always delighted to be here. You guys are doing a great job. I appreciate it, and thank you for including me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here, and good luck. And you get sworn in, what, January?
January 7th.
January 7th, you'll be sworn in.
I'm sitting in the seat.
You're off and running.
Looking
Mr.
forward to it,
Commissioner.
too. Looking forward to it, too.
All right, much more to come. You're watching the Wake Up Call here on Loaded TV, and we'll be back with fun events. We're coming to you live from the Bonanza. Come out and see us for breakfast or chat with us. We're live all around the world. Stay tuned, stand by, much more right after this.